I guess the first one and the only one that I saw this week, man, was Fast X. And this is a big film, man. I think the news that we got out of this thing is it actually did really good at the global box office. So this thing is I think they got like what did it say, man? 319 million worldwide opening box office, which is crazy. I don't know if anything has matched that. All right. So look, this is only behind Mario, which made 377 million, and Mario actually had like a few more days to count in their week to get to that 370.
Yeah, because that was before Easter weekend, and they pretty much was released on a Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. Yeah, so they got like a lot of extra days, extra time in. But let's get into it, man. So this film, the description here: over many missions and against impossible odds, Dom Toretto and his family have outsmarted and outdriven every foe in their path. Now they must confront the most lethal opponent they've ever faced. Fueled by revenge, a terrifying threat emerges from the shadows of the past to shatter Dom's world and destroy everything and everyone he loves. And this film is directed by Louis Leterrier. Stars, our family. You got Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty, Jason Statham as Shaw, Jordana Brewster as Mia, Tyrese Gibson, my man Roman. We got Ludacris as Tej, Ramsey, played by Natalie Emmanuel, Charlize Theron as Cypher, John Cena as Jacob, Sung Kang as Han, Helen Mirren as Queenie, Brie Larson pops up in this as Tess. We got Scott Eastwood in this as well. Jason Momoa, he's playing our big bad here, Dante. And we've got a bunch of other guys, man, including Alan Richardson, Louis Da Silva, Leo Abelo Perry, who plays Little Brian, who is also, I think that's Dom Toretto's son, right?
Yeah, he's their son.
Yeah, and we got Daniela Melchior, who plays Isabel. And these are our main people.
And you forget Rita Moreno as...
she does have a small part in this.
That's Dom's grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that scene. But this is crazy, man. So essentially, what I thought was interesting, I went in, when this thing started, I was like, hold up, I know I saw the title, but I was like, did I come into one of them showings where they're showing the old movies first, and then they're going to show this, and I'll miss up my times? Am I in the right theater? Because it kind of starts off in our Brazil heist, and we get to see where our bad guy comes from. So apparently, our bad guy was the son of the guy that was running this bank that they stole the safe from.
Yeah, Herman Reyes.
Yeah, dragging the safe through the streets. So his son is pretty much that's our guy. Jason Momoa is playing Dante, and he's out for revenge against the crew. So the film opens with that setup, and then we go on, to the bigger portion of this film, man. And this thing is crazy, man. So you know what you're in for, man. Like people would say, should I see this? And I'm like, well, if you saw the other ones, then go see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what you're in for. And obviously, if you've seen
and if you don't like Fast and Furious, don't go nowhere near it, because it is as Fast and Furious as Fast and Furious gets.
Yeah, it's like you're not seeing anything. There's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? This isn't going to they're not trying to reinvent the wheel on this franchise at all. So if you've seen the other ones, you're probably going to like this. You've seen all of them, and that means you're still getting some value out of experiencing these films, man. But this film is crazy, man. It might be at least one of the biggest ones in scale yet. I mean, even the last one was kind of big, but this one, they brought everybody that's ever been in one of these movies is popped up in. They're still alive. It's still it's in the, and honestly, even Paul Walker was dead, but in that flashback scene, we see him. So everyone's in this thing, man, and it's crazy. The action is just as crazy. The plot and all this stuff is just as crazy and outrageous. It's a nutty universe, man. But I think where this franchise has excelled and continues to done well with folks is it knows it's crazy. It knows this is wild. So their biggest aim is to entertain you as best as they possibly can with the action. you know, and that's what holds it together for me, man. Because the moment stuff is kind of weird. Like
it's still soap opera. It's soap opera stuff.
Yeah, it's soap opera-y and goofy, and I don't know. Some of the acting is a little wonky. Like when Charlize Theron shows up and she's all wounded, and it's just like, yeah, like she's telling them about this guy that's so evil, and I'm just like, oh my god, wow. This is just, it's nuts, but it works, you know. She's just there to tell us what's going on so we can get to the next scene. And
we're not covering lines. Are we just discussing it, or we cover?
I'm giving you my review. Like
okay,
I don't feel like. I mean, I'm not going to get into the real intricate stuff. Okay, but I'm just using that as an example just to show how wild this is, man. And also, I thought another scene was crazy too. It's like, this is what you're expecting, man. It's outrageous. Like the scene where Toretto's teaching his son how to drive, and you're just looking at this. How old is that kid, man?
He's a little kid. About 6, 7, yeah.
8 maybe. You see over the dashboard, this kid he's like this on the shifter, like trying to, like, that's how small he is, man. Barely can see over the wheel, but he's drifting this car, and it's nuts, man. But it makes sense in this world that this guy would be teaching this kid how to drive a car, man. But I mean, overall, I think I had a good time with this, man. I can't tell you it's a good film in the sense of how we normally would rate films, but it's fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and sometimes that's more important at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's a nutty experience, man. I did enjoy you know, some of the characters. I like Ramsey, man. I like what Emmanuel brings to this thing, because for some reason, man, I think her being there kind of saved a lot of the scenery. For some reason, some of the interpersonal chemistry wasn't working as well for me, man. Like Ludacris and Tej and Roman scenes, they're usually really good comic relief, but for some reason, a lot of their jokes were falling flat, you know, a lot of times for me, you know, when they were on the screen. But also, I will say this, man, this film, this might be a spoiler, but this film is an incomplete film. So this is supposed to be the end of the series, and they announced previously that there were going to be 2 films to end this thing, and now they said it's going to be 3. So this is pretty much essentially Fast X Part 1.
Yeah.
So with that saying, we get a lot of setup going on to this. There's a lot of characters that are off doing other stuff for the team, for the common goal, but we don't really cut back to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially John Cena. He goes off on a little side quest. And we figure out what he's doing, but then, like, the way this thing is definitely to be continued. There's a lot of threads out there, and I think this film serves to set up the threads, man. But for the most part, this is fast as you're gonna get, man. This is it is what it is, man. Like, let's let Corny get in.
One of the things about Fast and Furious, like that universe that they're in, and it's not, you know, it's kind of like the Marvel universe, or DC universe, or any like fantasy type universe where these guys are the ultimate car crew, and the thing is, they never break any of the rules that they established, you know, in the previous movies. So, and also it's no real rules in any other previous movie. So it's
break
kind
the rules when there's really no rules.
Yeah, but it's just consistently wild. You know, kind of like one of the things is the director of this directed the first 2 Transporter movies. Really deep down, I think if the Transporter movies didn't exist, we wouldn't have Fast and Furious like it is now, because, you know, those were 2 films, you know, those 3 films kind of didn't take themselves that serious, but they had a mission. Because, you know, at one point he's driving on a crane, and they don't even explain that. You know, it's a lot of amazing stuff.
Like if you think about that, it's good that you're saying that, because I'm thinking about Transporter. Remember when that bomb was under the car?
Yeah.
And he does the flip, and like that's definitely a Fast and Furious. I got to see when that came out as compared to when Fast series started getting wild with the car stuff, like really wild with it. That's a good. And
I think it was before Fast and Furious, but you know they pretty much in like a semi-cartoon universe, or almost. I kind of consider this like a form of anime series or whatever, because there's a lot of wild stuff. There's a lot of interesting characters, that and they they kind of have all this stuff going. And it kind of reminds me of like everybody that they go up against at some point becomes part of the family to fight a bigger bad. Because like last movie, Cena was against them, but and spoiler, he's like Dom and me. Is it Mia? That's Donna Brewster. What's her name?
Yeah,
It is Mia. Okay, he's their wayward brother. That kind of ran off. Got run off. But he was enemy last movie. He's a friend now. An ally now.
That's a rule though. Like a lot of the bad guys become the family.
Yeah, majority of them, except for Reyes and his family, because they were just assholes. Even like when you go back to like Fast. What's that? Fast 7, Furious 7. You have you get introduced to.
Was that one with Hobbs?
Well, Hobbs is already in there, but Hobbs gets introduced in Fast 5. Yeah, because he's out there for doing it himself. I'm trying to think of the actor's name. That's Jason Statham's brother in there. Deckard Shaw is the villain in that, and I can't think of that, but. In Fate of the Furious, he's working with his brother, who was an enemy to Dom, between Deckard and I can't think of the Shaw brothers' names. But both of them they kind of transform them into heroes at certain points. But it's just like how that universe is like. It kind of reminds me of like,
Deckard's brother was Owen.
Owen Shaw. Okay. Yeah, but you have the Shaw brothers. You have the Shaw mother. You have the Shaw sister in Hobbs and Shaw, in the Hobbs and Shaw film. Just about majority of the characters they go up against end up being their friends later on in this series. And like how things have been happening, and no spoiler on anything that's happened in this film. People that you think were dead, like Han, come back because all of a sudden you just had a little bit of a cliffhanger thing. Somebody pulled somebody to the side. So far, we Mr. Nobody, that played by Kurt Russell, hasn't reappeared yet. But things that happened in this current film, I think, might have happened to have him out of the way or out of the game. So I'm imagining him popping up.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be wild, dude. Because now, like I said, the ending has been expanded, and especially when you make this type of money out the gate, we gonna get that full fruition of them 3 films. And plus, they've announced a spinoff. So they said there's definitely gonna be an all mostly woman cast team up spinoff. They've announced that recently, and man, this thing we ain't gonna see the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be off the hook.
You still got the possibility of Hobbs and Shaw coming back. So that's going to even though The Rock said that he wasn't going to be in another one of these films, you never know what's going to happen in this universe. They start off enemies, they become friends. Hansu, he's one of the few people that's just he died, so he's dead supposedly. So he'll never be like a ally in this universe. But I don't know. I just get real entertained about it. All the interconnecting stories. It's a bunch of soap operas type stuff that's happening. It's a lot of action that's happening. It's just really goofy too. 80s throwbacks, like the challenges that always trips me out. The street challenges, like you want to race?
Yeah.
It's nutty, man.
It's street beef. It's a little bit of everything.
Like Momoa was having fun, man, but I don't think I was having as much fun watching Momoa as Momoa was having been in this movie. But I was happy for him. He was definitely enjoying himself. But there were some really weird choices, man. I think I wanted a more consistent portrayal on his half, but it works, man.
One of the things about Momoa, and I'm gonna spoil this for people that hadn't seen this, he's a queer-coded character, and before his father died,
he's like Bad Bunny. He's like Bad Bunny in this thing, like if I'm thinking of a real life comparison to for the people to know what he's like he's definitely like the musician Bad Bunny, who has the queer codedness in this thing, a little bit of androgyny in the way he dresses and just carries himself. He's goofy, man.
And one of the things about it that I kind of think is like his dad, in the flashback when he was around his dad, he was in a nice suit, looking respectable. But his dad's out of the way, so he's gonna be him. You know what I'm saying? And
it makes you wonder if he was suppressing that the whole time. Or
that's what I'm thinking. And like he's a fabulous villain.
All right, maybe I'll give him a little bit more points than I.
Yeah, he's up there with the Joker with me in this series. And whoever is the Joker in the new DCU can take some notes from Momoa, from this film. Because he was wild in this film.
And it was like every scene you seen him in, it was just a different him, and he was nutty, man. He was hamming it up.
And like I said, he was showing up like it was a damn anime. He's a villain that's, shit. It's so cartoonish on some of the stuff that's happening in it, but we're looking at something live action, and it's just insane. And like I said, I think we can kind of thank, just starting off, we can thank the Transporter films for getting us, to this universe. That's all I gotta say. I just overall just love this film. And then at the end of this one, it just felt like the end of Lord of the Rings, like Fellowship of the Ring. Like if I hadn't read the books and knew what was going on, because I remember back 100 years ago when Lord of the Rings came out, I remember being in a theater and somebody saying, "That's it,"
They thought, they just weren't.
Surely you haven't read these books that have been around for almost 100 years before this movie came out.
Then you didn't read the damn press coming up that this was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
But honestly, I kind of envy people that can do that now, because I think we're so plugged in now that we know so much about these things before they come out. Like just about a couple hours ago, I watched this PlayStation presentation about the new games they got coming up, and they showed off Spider-Man 2, and they showed like a lengthy sequence in the game, and they're like, this is cool, but also it would kind of be cooler to go into this game blind, but we still eat that up. I mean, that's a big part of what we do and how we cover this stuff. Like, we watch the trailers, we watch interviews, and we see snippets, so we know a lot more about this stuff, and I wish we could take it back to that, or some of them like not going into a film totally blind and not knowing anything. I kind of miss that. Like, it rarely happens these days when I go see a movie. So
yeah. As Frank Costanza said, I want to go in fresh. It's kind of hard to go in there fresh.
Yeah, it's hard these days. But then again, too, man, like that ending, the way it ends on that cliffhanger, it was kind of like, damn. like and partly it's like as crazy as it is, I was like, I do want to see how this ends right away. Then we gotta wait like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then it makes it killing. They have been doing this in some of the films, like people going on their little side missions. But this was kind of like Lord of the Rings, to where you had different groups. You had Rome. You had Rome. I forget Luda's character's name.
Tej.
Yeah, Tej.
That's what he called.
You had Ramsey and Han together, and then things happen, and you have Charlize Theron and Michelle Rodriguez's character together. You have Dom kind of like doing his own thing. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's multiple things happening, and it's it's all connected. So I don't know. It's a lot of interesting stuff. And then on top of that, we're getting introduced to new characters that we hadn't seen before. Like Brie Larson's character.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know what Larson's doing in here, man, but I guess you got another character we're gonna add to the
looking fine because I like Brie Larson.
And it's gonna be interesting to see how, like, because like you said, man, without spoiling out, they're all out there now, yo. It's like everyone's doing it's like when the X-Men, you got the gold team and the blue team, and then there's like a yellow team and a purple team with these guys. Because it's not like it's gonna be nuts, man. I can't even imagine. And also, I ain't gonna spoil it, man, but that damn cameo was actually, I knew what was gonna happen, like that bonus scene, like, because I had read up before, I knew what was gonna happen, but kind of seeing it, man, it got me hyped up. I think, that person is where they need to be right now, you know. So that's going to be interesting to see where that
between that and goes. Somebody, a surprise character that shows up in here that we weren't expecting. That was there was a WTF moment in this, but like I said, I remember like years ago, like I guess it was 2000. Me and my dad went and saw the first Fast and Furious, and it's like 23 years later, they're still making this franchise, and I'm still having fun with it. My dad isn't around anymore, but I almost think that he would probably be sitting in the theater, probably screaming just because of like special effects and stuff, because he was a nut just because of action things. But I can kind of see where he would probably be as excited as I was watching this, this film.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It definitely did. Like, and it's a long film too, man. And there's things I've seen recently that where it's this long. Man, honestly, it's crazy. Some people might think this would be blasphemy, but I had more fun with this than I did Ant-Man and Quantumania. I don't know. But it is what it is, man.
I like both films, but I might have had more fun watching this than I did Quantumania and parts of Guardians of the Galaxy. I wouldn't want to say Volume 3, but I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But you're dealing with the family, so Yeah.
So should you see it or not? Here's my thing. If you don't like this series, you're probably not going to like this. If you like this series, then go see it.
Yeah.